All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for the Dan Bongino Show.
So the little junior mini Khamenei, did you see he came out this right before we came up on the air? Did you guys catch it? Andrew, you catch it? Little mini Khamenei. He came out and he's like the seventh layer of Khamenei's. Now, after we took out the prior 6 layer of Khamenei's, we're like 7 degrees removed from Ayatollah Khamenei. Came out and said, we're going to attack U.S. bases. Total Baghdad bobsled. We're going to attack U.S. bases everywhere. We're going to close the streets. Of course, that's an effort to engage in economic warfare because what the Iranians at Khamenei number 72, whatever Khamenei is, they understand this thing right now. They understand that there is some powerful constituency in the United States on their side that they need to pull over. Who is it? Folks in the chat. Who is it? Come on. It's early, but yes, the American media, of course, is on the side of the Khamenei number 7 or whatever he is. So they know if gas prices go up, that the media will report endlessly, economic chaos. The death to America regime is killed, but it really is going to be the death of America. Gas prices went up 10 cents or whatever. Khamenei understands he's got like a constituency in the United States, the liberal media. That's why he's putting out these little messages. You understand that, right? Guy's cutting it now, so we'll get to that in a second. But I want to start off the show today with something different. Folks, I get it. Like the liberal media cheers on, Putin and Khamenei and any enemy of the United States. I get those are your homies. I understand. You got like an official handshake, like, you got gang sign with them and stuff. I get it. Like, I know they're your boys and all. But like when it comes to our troops, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, our folks in the Coast Guard, people who serve, whose lives and butts are on the line every single day, like in actual war theaters around the world, can you just take a moment and shut them before you run with a stupid story like the steak and lobster thing? Folks in the chat, I'm assuming you heard the story yesterday. The media, liberal media, who is on the side, they're in like Team Mullah, Team Khamenei number 7. They are on his team. They're like, that's my boy, Blue. They loved it. It's like old school. They loved it. They're in the same little fraternity. They're trying to hire Snoop Dogg to come out and do a concert. Some of you will get that. Now they're attacking our troops because the Department of War, under Secretary Hegseth, get a load of this, guys. This is just straight up malfeasance. This is just evil, sinful in the worst way. The Department of War, you believe this shit? They bought the troops steak once in a while. Oh my, what? What the? He's demanding an impeachment. So is Justin. They want an impeachment right now for Secretary Hegseth. This is I can't believe it. Of all the, right, guys? Of all the things we've heard, our brave men and women overseas eating shitty cardboard MREs all day, eat a steak and a lobster tail once. I don't know, guys. That's unforgivable. That for me is a bridge too far. That's it. Thank you, producer Jim. If there was ever a moment, for those of you who missed the radio show, I needed the radio feel back. Producer Jim has agreed to join us from Dallas. For those who listen to the radio show, you know exactly what that is. Jim, I don't know, but this is impeachable, is it not? He should be dragged Absolutely, in front of the 100%. Senate right now. 100%. Jim agrees. Pete, you're done, man. You are finished. All right, I'm going to get to that in a second and show you how CNN, unbelievably, after like their, 40th retraction this week or something, actually did it again. They did it again. Oh, man, what an opening to this show. I can tell. I'm in a mood today again, folks. Hyper-caffeinated Dan, ready to go. Today's show brought to you by Dose. I love this stuff. This is my actual bottle of Dose. That's why it's sweating. Jasmine pulls it out of the refrigerator every morning in the studio here. Go to dosedaily.co/Bongino for 35% off your first subscription. Try Dose, a simple daily supplement delivered monthly. Again, dosedaily.co/Bongino Bongino. Use code Bongino, folks. You have a weekend out. Maybe you've had a couple of alcoholic beverages. Look at the back. Look at those ingredients. Turmeric, dandelion, milk thistle, ginger. Perfect after a rough weekend out. I love those. I bought it way before they were a sponsor, so pick it up today. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Patriot Mobile. This last year, your eyes may have been open to a lot of things, but there was one thing that many found particularly disturbing. It was a lot of this infighting going on. I think we all agree on freedom of speech, the right to life, the Second Amendment, supporting our military and first responders. Well, there's one company who's been fighting for our rights for well over a decade now. Patriot Mobile. They've been with me from the beginning. This is an amazing company run by huge patriots, and they're proud of it. Unlike other mobile providers, Patriot Mobile works on all three major networks. In fact, you can be on multiple networks on the same phone. It saved me up in Orlando last week where I was getting terrible service with another provider. Thankfully, we have a phone with Patriot Mobile. More importantly, their customers enjoy priority service with the same or better quality as their old providers. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes switching fast and easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan. Get a free month of service with the offer code Dan. This company's been fighting for things we all believe in for over a decade. Let's thank Patriot Mobile by making the switch today. Do it. The service is amazing. patriotmobile.com/Dan. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan. Okay. So, sarcasm aside for a moment, a big expose yesterday, I say that laughingly, that the Department of War, that, by the way, has billions in money for weapons, hundreds of billions of dollars for weapons to keep our country safe, to support our fighting men and women, that they spent, millions on steak and lobster. Now, obviously, if it was costing millions of dollars, it's fairly obvious that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was not eating the steak and lobster himself. Now, dumb shits in the media who don't understand how kcals work, calories, and intake and outtake, came out, of course, and they were like, hey, man, that's Pete. What an arrogant little SOB he is. Justin, can you believe he ate $15 million in steak and lobster? Now, we know Pete very well. It's like, hey, look at who I know. Who gives a shit who I know? I'm just telling you, I know. Why do I tell you I know Pete? Not because I want to look like a big shot, because I've seen Pete eat quite a bit. Matter of fact, when I was in D.C., one of the first meetings I had after hours, I didn't do a lot of them, was with Pete and Judge Janine and others. We had a dinner. And I saw Pete eat. And I assure you, Pete did not eat $15 million in steak. Actually, I only saw him kind of nibble at his plate a little bit. He was sharing the food with his wife, Jen. So Pete is not like some big 400-pound monster who could consume $15 million in steak. It was fairly obvious, if you're not a liberal media douche canoe, that this was actually bought for our war fighters out there who occasionally, when they're not eating shitty cardboard MREs, all for us, but they don't have to do this. They don't have this volunteer workforce, right? Hey, I'm going to go die for my fellow American overseas and eat shitty food all day. It's not something a lot of people volunteer for. So I tend to put these people on a pedestal and tend to think very little of people who attack them. That's just me, okay? So they decided that they were going to re-up a food contract, nothing unusual, and purchase some steak and lobster for our heroes. Here is Paul Begala, one of the dumbest mother on television ever. This guy is spent decades on the air saying really stupid shit. Here he is on CNN, implying somehow that the steak and the lobster is for Pete, who, again, I'm not sure could consume that much steak and lobster. He's a very thin guy. I'm not kidding, folks. This happened. Check this out.
Spent $15 million in 1 month for ribeye steak, $6.9 million for lobster tail, $225 million for furniture. He spent more in the month of September than most countries on earth spend in their defense.
Paul, do you believe
himself? Lobster tails?
Do you believe
while our troops are eating MREs?
No.
Tails?
Do you believe the Secretary of Defense is personally eating all the lobster?
Well, he can't eat
16.
Troops. Oh, really? The troops are getting lobster
frequently.
Brothers D-Fact has steak and lobster. How's your steak and lobster?
It's all right. Damn near decent.
How's yours?
I'm ready for war.
We're going to war.
Theater,
my God.
Troops who are going to war.
Oh, my God.
Great meal. You know that.
They're getting lobster. You are so full of it.
Killed over this.
You are
You're going to get killed
full of
over
it.
this. Internet, do something.
I might have to double it. I had to run it back.
Well, the internet did something. Thank you to the great Scott Jennings on CNN for constantly humiliating their stupid hosts and guests. How does this guy remain employed? And I mean that, by the way, as the greatest of compliments. Scott Jennings has single-handedly saved CNN from itself so many times. Paul Begala is a freaking moron. Justin just pops out of the studio. He goes, 15 million in steak and lobster. One, that's not even a lot of money compared to the Pentagon employee workforce and how many warfighters we have. That's not even that's like a drop in the bucket, okay? 15 million for steak and lobster for our troops. Justin's like, Begala doesn't know he didn't eat it. Like, you go into those restaurants, burger joints, and they always have they're like the king of all burgers. Eat this burger and we won't charge you. It's free. You ever seen that? And the burger's I don't know, it's like a 3, 4, 5 pound burger, so 10-pound burger. And the guy spends 5 hours. That burger, that whole burger probably costs, even with the Joe Biden inflation, probably costs $100, maybe $150 if you're lucky. You would have to eat one of those burgers every minute. We need to get Mara Gay in here to do math, to wind up equaling anywhere close to $15-20 million of Pete Hegseth consuming steak by himself.
Get
this
in
kind
my
of
belly.
That's how big you'd have to be to eat that shit. And even he couldn't do it. The fat dude from Austin Powers, they couldn't do it. There is no freaking way. This is fairly obvious. There is no cable network or podcast full of sane people on planet Earth where that comment would be allowed to stand. So, internet, do your thing. I'm going to play this again. I saw this on Dom Luker's Twitter feed. It was pulled off of TikTok. Here is one of our soldiers. Thank you to the guy eating the steak and lobster in this, the table full of guys who are going to go off into war theaters and put their asses on the line for us. I can't say enough to our veterans, our active duty folks, the families of veterans who are serving you too, from the Dan Bongino Show. Everybody here, thank you. From the bottom of my sometimes broken heart, you are the greatest part of this country. We love you on this show. I don't give a flying fuck if you eat steak and eggs for breakfast, steak on steak for lunch to prepare yourself for steak at night, ribeye steak at night. I don't even want you eating sirloin. It's too cheap. I want you eating ribeye, porterhouse. Fuck, I want you eating a tomahawk once in a while. I want a big-ass tomahawk with a chef. Put those flags in the chat. Flags in the chat. In honor of our great, I'm not in the middle. Handle, I love you guys. And ladies out there, eat steak every day. Look at our chat supporting you guys. Do you ever see that many American flags in a chat before? The Bongino Show loves you guys. You have a special place in all of our hearts here. Morning steak, evening steak, afternoon steak. Fuck, I want a nighttime steak too. Sorry about the language. I'm just in a mood today. You should have a steak before bed too. Play that guy again. Here's the guy on TikTok, by the way. I love this guy. He's like, I'm going to double up and go back for more. I want you to triple up. After you double up and go get your other lobster tail and steak, I want you to go back. I want you to do whatever you need to do. Take a food nap, have a food baby, and then go back and get another steak and lobster tail. Keep it up in the chat while this plays again. I love this guy. Check this guy out.
Brothers Defect has steak and lobster. How's your steak and lobster?
All right. Damn near decent.
How's yours?
I'm ready for war.
We're going to war. I might have to double it. I had to run it back.
Sir, whoever you are, look at that chat. Still going. Run it back again. Run it back a third time. Let me tell you a little something, okay? I was not in the military. I can't say it enough because it's the greatest regret of my life, because I love and adore people who serve for me. I live in this great, prosperous, free country because I'm not on the front lines of combat. There are other people out there protecting this place. You think people wouldn't invade the United States of America tomorrow and steal all our shit if they could? Why don't they do it? The answer is because Marines, Air Force, soldiers, and our men and women in the Navy and in our Coast Guard would kill them. That is why. That is why this happened. That is why you can sit safe and secure in your bed every night. Yes, it's the cops too locally, but nobody invades us because they wouldn't even dare. Because of brave men and women who's like, I will kill you if you come in our house called the United States. And you know what they eat? For those out there in the liberal ecosystem who are in my chat, you're the only ones not posting American flags in the chat right now, as we probably break it for Rumble and show them like bugs they can't find on any other show, because this is the biggest one. The liberal D-bags in the chat. Do you guys know what MREs are? MREs are these like meal packs that the military folks have been taking them out in the field forever. Now, the MRE technology has gotten better. I was not in the military. However, I have had, even though MREs have gotten better, I have had the unfortunate pleasure of having to live off MREs for maybe a day or a day and a half. That was it. I got stuck one time in my prior job on a foreign advance when I was on the president's detail in Accra, Ghana. The car plane broke down. I think it was an old C5. We used to fly backwards upstairs, right? We get stuck there, and we're there, and we ran out of food. We had some water and some MREs. I'd eat MREs occasionally, but I never had to eat them over a course of like a day and a half. So all we did was sit in this hangar in the presidential limos because the cars were on the plane, and all we could do was eat MREs. Let me tell you something. When you're hungry, you'll eat MREs. They're not horrible, but let me tell you something. They're not great either. You start trading people stuff. I'll take that for this and all this other stuff. I wasn't even in the military. This was one day of my life. Here's Dan Bongino's sacrifice. Here it is. Can't see it because it wasn't there. I didn't have to sacrifice anything. One freaking day. I fasted for a day, okay? No big deal. Here's their sacrifice. These guys are eating this shit every day. Every day. You know what a hot meal means to a guy in some hot zone theater? We could be killed walking out of his hooch at night. Do you have any idea what it means to him to eat steak and a lobster? This is like the heavens have opened up and beautiful vistas appear. Steak and lobster. They've been eating graham crackers and shitty eggs out of an MRE that was probably made 15 years ago. Have you ever seen a story blow up more in the face of dipshits like Paul D. Bagala? Some of you will get that. To all the war fighters out there, again, Secretary of War, I suggest you do this. Pete don't need any leadership training from me. I would suggest a big, huge, massive double-barrel middle finger. And in the next budget, you make steak and lobster tails mandatory like 2 or 3 times a month for everyone. At least. Fly it out to the freaking war zone and have them eating it in hooches on a barbecue. So tired of these trying to control it. No, I'm sorry, folks. I just I told you, man, like my family was never the same. My mother lost her older brother in Vietnam, my uncle. I never met him because he died before I was born. I was born in 1974. My grandmother was never the same. My grandmother was never, ever the same. His name was Greg Ambrose. When you go to that Vietnam War Memorial, you see his name there. I think it's 42 years, but I've seen it probably 15, 20 times. My grandmother was never the same. She died, Eileen Sadler. She died unbelievably depressed over this. I don't even like talking about it because that was always a thing. Don't mention Greg around grandma. Don't mention Greg. He was barely 20 years old. He did something that, unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of people in this chat who served, know someone who served, or know someone who served and died for us have experienced too. And we're going to complain about our troops and soldiers eating a steak and a lobster tail once in a while? You all can go fuck yourself in the media, all right? If you think this story is going to resonate with the American people and you've got some political football, man, I'm telling you, this is the most grotesque political miscalculation in modern times. While we're at war right now with this military action over there in Iran, you think this is going to ring people's bells? Assholes. I'm so tired of these people, man. And you should be too. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for chipping in there and showing our soldiers and fighting men and women out there how much they mean to us. Thank you. All right, I want to get to the this story because this just broke before we came on the air. This is going on right now. We have military action going on in Iran. They're complaining about steak and lobster for our troops, like assholes. However, this just broke before we came on the air. It's a really important story because Khamenei, I don't know what he is, Khamenei 14, we're down to like the lower levels. Like it's just kid. This guy is probably be dead by the end of the week. I hope he is. I don't wish ill on anyone. However, if people wish us to die, I hope they die first. It's just a matter of simple Dan Bongino, don't get dead ideology. I don't want to get dead. You shouldn't want to get dead either. So if people's motto, like death to America Mullahs, is you should get dead first, my comeback is no, you're going to get dead first. Thanks to brave men and women willing to do it and make you get dead before we get dead. So Khamenei put out a statement this morning. This just happened a few minutes ago before he came on the air. A bunch of threats about how he's going to attack American bases. He's going to shut down the Strait. These are the lunatics we're dealing with whose biggest fans are the left-wing media. Check this out.
Just getting this in right now. On Iranian state media, a presenter read a new statement from Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, and Reuters is reporting a few highlights from those remarks, saying that the supreme leader said in the statement, "We believe in friendship with neighbors and only target the bases, and we will inevitably continue." That is not true. We know that many Gulf countries have had their residential and civilian infrastructure attacked. Now, Iran's new supreme leader in this statement goes on to say all U.S. bases should immediately be closed in the region, and those bases will be attacked. He also says in the statement, again, that was presented on state media, he does not appear in the statement, that he calls on unity among the people of Iran and participation in Quds Day. Now, Quds is the Arabic word for Jerusalem, and this day normally falls on the last Friday of Ramadan. And so, if my math is correct here, that would be March 20th of this year, the last Friday of Ramadan, when traditionally we have seen Iranian proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah launch attacks and also large demonstrations in the region. And then also talks about the Strait of Hormuz. Closure of the Strait of Hormuz should be continued as a tool to, quote, pressure the enemy.
Reading the chat. Totally magnificent. Let them eat steak. You're damn right. David Sock, he doesn't have a Navy to shut down anything. You're damn right he doesn't. But they do have some small ships left in some capacity. However, minesweepers, our technology, our ISR, surveillance, reconnaissance, intel gathering abilities. Folks, we're in a unique spot right now where we can mow that lawn. We don't need any kind of democracy, nation building efforts. It's probably not going to work. However, we are winning. Anyone in the liberal media on the side of the Mullah class and this asshole, Khamenei, man, we're going to shut down the Strait. They should be completely disregarded their opinions. You're allowed to have them. Freedom of the press is a great thing. You also have the freedom to act like a moron. And unfortunately, again, you have to take us up on the opportunity all the time. Folks, the Strait is very, very thin at its choke point. It is a complicated piece of global infrastructure, no doubt about it. However, the Strait has been a persistent problem for decades right now. Donald Trump is the one guy with the nutsack to fix it. Even the Wall Street Journal, Barton Swain, I read the Wall Street Journal. I know they're not the biggest like MAGA folks. I get it. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not closed-minded to other people's ideas. I like ingesting ideas from all portions of our movement and the other side too. I want to see what they're thinking, because it's usually stupid and I need a good comeback for it, so I listen to their stupidity. However, even the Wall Street Journal yesterday wrote an op-ed saying, hey, man, you cannot like Donald Trump. Like, it's a republic. You're allowed, obviously, to have opinions. However, when the Wall Street Journal themselves is acknowledging, this is an important piece, here's just a small snippet from it, that, hey, all you people attacking Trump's motives for doing this, it's totally baseless. This is Barton Swain at the Wall Street Journal. I'm telling you, they're not even fans of President Trump, like at all. He says, I want to just listen to this. This is really important. The question is why? Like, why did Trump engage in this military action? They note, if Mr. Trump is either the unserious buffoon his detractors on the left assume he is, or the anti-war peacenik some of his MAGA supporters thought he was, then why did he do it? He goes on, what's driving both camps batty is that the only plausible motivation for Donald Trump's order to strike Iran is a judicious and honorable one, that the regime in Tehran constantly menaces America and its allies, and that its rulers can be counted on to continue their pursuit of a nuclear weapon. He notes in conclusion, listen to this, there is no bizarre ulterior motive necessary. Folks, there is no reason for Trump to do this other than not getting you dead. He does not benefit from this politically. He's had to handle some of the economic fallout, the liberal media cheering on the Mullah class. He's doing it because he believes in not getting you dead too. That's it. We've played 1,000 clips of this guy, hyperbolically, speaking of Donald Trump from 1980 on, telling you about the threat of the Iranians. This has been on his mind for decades. We played the clips. It's not me, engaging in conjecture. We played the clips of him saying it. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and I want to get back to this because a story went out yesterday, and I got 20, 30 emails from media people wanting me to talk about it because they know I'm obsessed with this story. However, I want to take a bit of an edge off it because the story went out and everybody kind of freaked out. It was like almost wall to wall for an hour on cable news. Quick break, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Some of you know where I'm going with this. Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth over $150,000. Damn! Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. I did. That's why I buy my gold from Birch Gold Group, BIRCH, and have for a long time. I'm happy I did. It's a crucial part of a balanced financial strategy for me. It gives me peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy and have. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you, too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text my last name, Bongino, Bongino, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, maybe in one of them. Let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold and get your peace of mind. Text Bongino, Bongino, to 989898 and give them a shot. Again, text my last name, Bongino, to the number 989898 today. Message and data rates apply. Thanks, Birch Gold. So this story popped, and then my phone blew up after that about the drones. ABC News, how there was a FBI warning about Iran aspiring to attack California with drones in retaliation for war. Listen. Obviously, drones are a serious problem. I've only said it 1,000 times. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this and reiterate the obvious. You all know why drones are a problem. Humans can't fly. They're hard to intercept. The technology life cycle is down to close to like 2 weeks in Ukraine before there's some counter technology to defeat the technology, to counter the counter technology. It's a big problem. They are an essential part of our new commercial base that's going to be used for deliveries from Amazon to Walmart to everyone else. So they're not going away. You can't ban them. So we're going to have to find a way to, isolate friend from foe and get a cheap technology to take these things down if they are in fact foe. The reason I bring that up is when you read deeper into that story, it is older intelligence that it was put out as a law enforcement bulletin. Not telling you it's not a problem. I'm just telling you it's not like there was a specific incident that somebody was like, oh, they're going to attack San Diego tomorrow. Like, that's not what happened. So that's why I didn't go out and comment on it in the media yesterday, because I think they want to contribute to the hysteria out there, and I'm not going to be part of that. Of course, there are threats out there, but there's an agenda by these liberal media types. Gas prices through the roof. Then they come down. They ignore the story. We're all going to die. Sleeper cells everywhere. Okay, really? And what? I didn't see that. The evidence of that. I'm not telling you we don't have unknown unknowns. We do. But, I mean, if anyone would know, it would be me, right? Now, I want to get to this, too, because I addressed this a little bit yesterday. But folks, the liberal media, in addition to the Iranian Mullah class finding an ally in the liberal media, don't give the troops steak and lobster. We're losing the war. We're getting killed over there, left and right. The base is, oh my gosh, this is terrible. They've never found a better ally than the liberal media. I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. And believe me, no one's more skeptical of liberal media bullshit than what has two thumbs in this guy, this cat right here. But the liberal media has found an ally too, with people out there pretending they're part of our movement. Folks, I can't read the whole thing, but this is a tweet you really need to see. James Lindsay put this out yesterday, and I've warned you about this. He's at Conceptual James on X. I'm not going to read the whole thing. However, keep this up if you could, Guy, with me in the little box for a minute. I'll try not to, people like visuals to jump around a little bit. However, this is important. What James is addressing here is current thingism. Folks, the left is the party of the current thing. You know the current thing? Men's penises in the women's room, abortion after birth, otherwise known as murder. Like, they just fall for the current thing all the time. Remember current thingism, like NPCs? Unfortunately, the current thing now is starting to filter over into the right. He notes this. He says, hey, I'm addressing this Zoomer slop. In other words, this current thingism amongst this younger breed of Republican kids out there. He says, this is a real Gen Z quote. Of all my friends, Israel is the very first thing they want to learn about and understand, because it does go back to America first. I, in fact, have not talked to one Gen Z conservative that has been pro-Israel. Everyone I talk to is questioning Israel. Okay. Well, Lindsay brings up a good point. James says, well, listen, kids, doesn't that seem really effing weird to you? The main thing your whole cohort cares about is another country, one that's allied with us and is kicking ass in the most Top Gun way you can imagine. Doesn't it seem weird that everyone in your generation is focused on another country that isn't even attacking us? They don't chant death to America. He notes it should be weird because it is weird. The reason it's happening is not because Israel is relevant to all of your lives. It's happening because you're being propagandized. I've seen this over and over. He goes on later in the tweet. He says, you think this was normal? No, it's not normal either. Talking about how he mentions how these social justice kids back decades ago fell into this white privilege current thing trap. That's not normal. How does that affect your daily lives? He says this is the result, both of this, of not natural phenomenon, but dedicated propaganda campaigns. He talks about reflexivity and Soros's fertile fallacies, how you repeat a lie that seems believable enough with facts unrelated to evidence, and this is what you get. Scroll down a little bit more. He says reflexive campaigns are everywhere. On the left, they call them the current thing. Rafts of memes, the NPCs, all changing their tune and saying the same thing at the same time. He notes, you're being Sorosed. You are. The reason everyone in your generation is suddenly talking about Israel is because propagandists in your midst have made Israel your current thing. It's a reflexive campaign. Don't play the part in this. Folks, this tweet just absolutely nails it. All right, I don't want to read the whole thing. If this is your everyday obsession, and you're just bombarding people with unrelated facts. I saw a tweet about this yesterday. Here's direct evidence of someone who has no idea what they're talking about and is low IQ. Very smart people take a pool of facts, okay? Facts, real facts. And in order to come to a reasonable hypothesis about some issue du jour, they distill out facts that matter versus facts that are irrelevant. I've given you this example before. A bank is robbed down the block here in Martin County. There were 1,000 people who were in and out of the bank that day. Only one of them robbed the bank. Now, it was a fact that 999 others were there, but the smart investigator will learn to find one and eliminate the other. It doesn't mean it's not a fact the other 999 were there. It means it's irrelevant to solving the crime. Smart people do that. Their information acts like a sieve on the way down. That's how they get to a conclusion. Stupid people do the opposite. They have a conclusion in advance. We know someone robbed the bank, and then they absorb and put out there every useless fact to confuse everyone. Well, Tony was in the bank too. Yeah, Tony was watching his kid when the bank was robbed. Went to the bank earlier. I don't know, that's suspicious. No, you're just stupid. This is how propaganda exercises work. Once you see them, you can never unsee them. Please do not fall into this trap. You all in this audience are smart. I know you've seen this 1,000 times and you're like immune to it. I get it. But a lot of people aren't. They fall for this shit all the time. Folks, we have a real enemy out there. How do we know? Because they literally chant death to America. They're not hiding it. Why do you, to those in the chat who may disagree with me and say, no, Israel's definitely a bigger enemy. Okay. Where you got that from, I don't know. That's not based on any reason or logic. However, you don't think the Iranians, with their death to America chant and their pursuit of nuclear weapons, are our biggest enemy in the region? I don't understand how you sit there and justify that in your head. Why would you think, after supporting proxy groups and terror attacks in the United States, trying to kill President Trump, we just had a conviction of a Pakistani man, Asif Mirchan, no longer alleged for a plot to kill President Trump in conjunction with the Iranians. Did you miss that? How do you not consider them our greatest threat, maybe in the world? Folks, the Russians and the CCP have nuclear weapons too. Could they use them? They could. But I think they understand, mutually assured destruction, that we destroy them too. The Mullahs don't care. The Mullahs don't care. They will die in a second. They get a nuclear weapon, we're finished. Don't tell me they won't use it. Are you insane? Have you seen what these people talk about? And if your spiritual leader is a guy that lives by the mantra, by the way, death to America, and you're in the United States on a visa or something else, then yes, you should get your ass out of here right away, and you should be deported immediately by declaring allegiance to a spiritual leader that declares death to America. You're an American citizen, you have rights, there's a process. If you're here as a courtesy, and we extended you that courtesy on a visa, or you're in the immigration process now, you're illegally, just get out. But even the legal immigration process, and we find out that you pledge allegiance to your spiritual leader Khomeini, number 14, who chants death to America, then you should get them out of the country ASAP. A country cannot survive like this, with people on the inside metastasizing like a cancer, calling for the death of our country in the country. What brings me to this? Where'd that come from? Do you see Mehdi Hassan, that freaking lunatic? Remember that quote he had, Guy, that time? You're like the cattle. And this guy's just a nut. He's just a freaking psycho. He's on Piers Morgan's show, basically whining about how we killed Khomeini and how we wiped out the Mullah class. He then hints at maybe illegal. Like, that's really? It's illegal? How's that illegal? What law is that? Felonious mopery in the umpteenth degree? Like, did I miss a piracy on the open seas? Like, did I miss something? And not only that, he's like, hey, man, a lot of people, friends of mine, consider this guy spiritual leader. Really? The Death to America guy? The terrorist? That's good to know. That's really good to know. Don't take my word for it. Listen to him. Check this out.
Are you pleased that the now dead Ayatollah Khomeini, the older Khomeini, is no longer ruling Iran?
It's a good question. I don't take pleasure in killing anyone. I don't think you should have illegally killed the foreign leader of a nation, who's also, by the way, a spiritual leader to millions of Shia Muslims around the world. He wasn't my spiritual leader, but he's a spiritual leader to many people I know.
I don't take pleasure in killing people. Well, I do if they want to kill me first. I'm not going to tell you it's pleasurable. I'm just going to tell you I feel a little bit better when a dude who's like, hey, you guys should all die, and I'm trying to get a nuclear weapon when he dies first, when he's taking a bit of a dirt nap before everyone else. Oh, you found it? Here, Mehdi Hassan. The disbelievers, the atheists who remain deaf and stubborn to Islam, the people of no intelligence because they're incapable of intellectual effort it requires to shake off the blind prejudices about the existence of God. The Quran describes these atheists as the cattle, a cattle of those who grow the crops and do not stop and wander elsewhere. There's your homie there. Hey, man, I'm really sorry about this. If you're out there and you're going through the immigration process, I'm actually being a little bit sarcastic. But if that's your spiritual leader, then you should get to the country right now. Like today. And this is, by the way, one of the great gifts of President Donald Trump, is his ability to say things that are fairly obvious to these sane and rational actors all across the country who aren't on X every day and are just out there living their lives at the kids' volleyball game or whatever, doing things American parents do and have done forever. They say to themselves when they hear Donald Trump say things like, hey, man, death to America crowd, you should probably get out of the country. Matter of fact, if you're going to come here to the United States and not contribute and steal from us, we don't give a shit where you're from. We should probably send you back too. And regular average Americans are like, yes, I'm all for that. It's only the liberals who revolt. This is Donald Trump's superpower. What? His ability to say things that override the media messaging machine, that are just common sense, come here to contribute or get the hell out, and then getting the media to leapfrog it with something stupid like, I can't believe that guy's such a racist for saying it. Nobody sees it that way who's sane and sound of mind, except you liberal media idiots. Here's what I mean. Here's Trump on revoking citizenship for people who come to the country and try to steal from us. Check this out.
We're also going to revoke the citizenship of any naturalized immigrant from Somalia or anywhere else who is convicted of defrauding our citizens. We're going to get them the hell out of here fast.
Great. And of course, the media comes back with what? With zero evidence that their assertion has a shred of credibility. What do they say? Folks in the chat, you know it. Someone said the trolls are active. Yeah, of course they're active. You mentioned the word Israel, the bot brigade kicks in. It's not real, folks. I told you. It's not real. Hey, put up that Axios thing. This is a left-leaning out.
Back there is not real.
She's back. Most Americans are too busy for social media, too normal for politics, too rational to tweet. They work, raise kids, coach a Little League, and never post about it. It's not a small minority. It's a monstrous, silent majority. Folks, it's a bot thing. I'm telling you. Just do a test on your Twitter account. Just put in the word Israel and watch what happens. It's all bullshit. I'm telling you. This is Donald Trump's superpower, however, saying things that make just sense to normal, reasonable people who are like, yeah, if you're going to come here and migrate here, then you should contribute to the country our forefathers and we built and paid taxes for. And I mean, actually built. Bricklayers, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, tin knockers, steam fitters, rail workers, our military men and women who protect it all, cops, firemen, they all did this. We don't owe anybody around the world jack shit, and Jack left town. We're a nice country. We have an immigration process. My wife used it. People come here. They pledge allegiance to the United States. Good. We get good people. Fine. Great. My grandparents came here from Sicily, Palermo. Fantastic. But there's a process. And you should contribute like everyone else does because we don't owe you anything. I'm sorry, but, listen. You all can abide by a poem or you can abide by the real world. Give us your time. No, give us people who want to contribute. I'm sorry. This is common sense stuff, by the way. This is not complicated. He's got this gift of doing this. He's done it with a number of issues. The trans issue, voter ID. How bad does it have to, with Donald Trump, hey, I think we should produce an ID to vote. You can't even buy allergy medication without ID. Of course, liberal lunatic, I can't believe that's racist. You just gave that answer for the other issue too, about Somali fraud in Minnesota. Do you guys have another answer other than that's racist? Here's The View. Can we all agree, far left like communist show, The View? Here's the hosts on The View having to acknowledge the polling on voter ID, proving my point again. If you believe left-leaning social media, you would think there's a mass revolt against voter ID. I can't believe it. It's like Jim Crow 7.2. Really? Nobody actually believes that. Not in the numbers you think. Not in the numbers even close to what you think. Here's The View having to acknowledge this. Check this out.
3% support voter ID requirements, 95% of Republicans, 71% of Democrats, 76% of Black people, 82% of Latino, 85%. Like, you go across the board, people are okay with that.
That's The View, folks. That's not a Turning Point conference. That's not the Jesse Waters primetime show. That's The View. This is this guy's gift. Now, someone asked me the other day, a friend, he's like, you always say that, this is Trump's gift, like to state the obvious and get the media to overreact, to show your ass theory. But he brought up a good point. You've never explained to the audience, he said to me, it's a doctor friend of mine, if it's so obvious, then why haven't other Republicans done it in the past? Mitt Romney, George W., George H.W. Why haven't they just taken the same approach? I'm going to tell you why. And shame on this guy for not telling you in the past. They've always been afraid of the media. No, they have. Yes, they have. The old adage around D.C., ask some old timer. If you know some old D.C. bureaucrat who worked in the Bush administration, Bush the dad, Bush the son, either one. They'll tell you, like the old adage was, you don't mess with people who buy ink by the barrel. And if there was even a hint that anything you did could be falsely smeared with that guy's a racist, they would run away from it and just not do it. Trump just doesn't care. He knows it's all bullshit. He knows it's not true. And he just doesn't give a shit. That's the only explanation that matters because it's true. Just like the explanation the Wall Street Journal gave for why Trump chose to take military action in Iran. Because he doesn't want us to get dead. That's it. You don't need to. The thing about Trump is he's so transparent, it actually confuses and disorients people. They are disoriented by honesty in D.C. This I have said before, and you know it, you P1s. They are disoriented by honesty. We should trademark that, put it on a t-shirt. They are. They've never heard a politician tell them the truth. So when Donald Trump tells you the truth about something, voter ID is common sense or people cheat. Republicans wouldn't say that in the past or fight as hard for it because they're afraid of being called a racist. That when he says it, like everybody's just disoriented. Oh my God, I haven't heard it. It's so crazy. The guy telling the truth. There's got to be an ulterior motive. There isn't. There is no ulterior motive. Donald Trump has given, Justin, can you look this up? How many press avails has Donald Trump given? How many press appearances? What? There is no patina mask on this guy at all. You're just disoriented by the truth because you're not used to it. Listen, the audio here is not great. It's not Guy's fault or Jim's fault. It's just chopper talk with the helicopter in the background, okay? But he's asked a question about an FBI investigation going on right now for the nothing's happening in Georgia and Arizona into some allegations of potential fraudulent activity in the election. Again, this is common sense. There have been allegations of fraudulent voting activity and counting activity. If there's nothing there, folks, there's nothing there, and we'll report it. However, the FBI investigation, I'm just telling you what I've seen publicly, not disclosing anything on the inside. There's been pretty extensive reporting that there's judicial process already started. In other words, an FBI agent had to go and raise his right hand and swear in front of a judge that I have probable cause of malfeasance, law breaking, and this is it. And a judge said, yes. You would think the liberal media people in Georgia, and now it's advanced into Arizona too, would be celebrating this. All they talked about, these dipshits, in the 2016 election, Russia stole the election, election fraud, Bush stole the election from Gore. You would think liberal media people would be like, this is awesome. We are finally going to find out how the Russians stole 2016 and all. No. The liberal media people just want to bury this story. They're not interested at all in the details of actual affidavits and how a judge, not a member of the FBI, not even a member of the executive branch, how a judge looked at the FBI's case and said, there's something there. Reasonable people are like, really? Here's Trump on the South Lawn asked about the investigation now moving on to Arizona, which again, you would think they'd be inquisitive about. They're just like, no, that's not real, Mr. President. He had a different answer. Check this out.
Arizona, why did the FBI seize election records in that state?
Well, they probably thought the election was rigged.
It wasn't rigged, though.
Really? Who told you?
How do you know? Your own Attorney General in 2020 said that there was not measurable voter fraud to change the outcome of the election. I think there's no, sir, where's the evidence of that?
I love the question at the end. Thank you, guys. New York Post, Trump nears 500 press interactions in his second term, blowing past Biden's whole term. He's only in there a year. I love the part at the end where the reporter says there's no evidence. Folks, listen to what I just told. Please, liberals, just for a second, put down your latte. Put down your latte, and remember those cigarettes with the long little like stick things they had? Put that down, your smoking jacket, take it off for a second. You limousine liberal Karens out there, and just shut up and listen for a second. Take the cotton out of your ears, jam it in your mouth, and just listen to Brother Dan for a second. If that dipshit reporter, who's supposed to be asking questions, by the way, not answering them, correct? That's the role of the reporter, correct? Is to ask the president a question, not answer it for him? Mr. President, why are you in Arizona? Oh, there's no evidence, the reporter. Why are you answering the question? He just answered the question for you. He's not involved in the investigation. He's the president. It's an FBI investigation, contrary to what you may have been told. No, there's no evidence. Well, how did it get past the judge in Georgia? You think so just to be clear, understanding a little bit about the process, okay? Forget about the last job. When I was an actual ground field agent doing work myself, we arrested quite a few people for Secret Service crimes that we investigated. You're telling me a regular FBI GS-13 went and lied in front of a judge at risk of being put in jail for perjury and just made the whole thing up? Well, have the balls to say it. You just said there's no evidence. If there's no evidence, the investigation will uncover no evidence. Everybody will be cleared and we can all move on. We all hope it was free and fair, correct? You see how these dipshits do this all the time? She's supposed to be asking a question, but she already has the answer in her head. This is evidence of bias. Her priors. She has a prior thought, a confirmation bias in her head. The election was wonderful. Nobody cheated. It's all great, well and good. So why ask the question? What did Trump say? We haven't seen that in a while. By the way, what did Trump say there that is so controversial? What did he say that's so controversial? He thinks it was rigged. Okay, if it's not, we'll see that. Folks, I told you, there is a bubble of stupid people in the left-wing media and progressive movement that ironically never progresses anywhere. There's a circle of stupid trying to infect our movement. There's foreign money going into a lot of this. Foreign support going into a lot of this. And it's designed to make you believe that this wonderful country we have, unparalleled in human history, that's a fact, brothers and sisters. There has never been a country like the United States right now. Wake up every morning and thank your Lord and Savior. I thank Jesus every morning. Every morning. I told you, wake up every morning. I'm Dan Bongino. I love Jesus, and Jesus loves me. It makes me feel good. You don't got to do it. I do it. Thank the Lord you were born in the United States when you were, and you're alive right now. The greatest country in the history of this planet. Don't let this little pocket of losers and media dipshits convince you that the place is falling apart. It's chaos, MAGA civil war everywhere. Folks, I'm looking out my window right now. There's like a supermarket across the street. I promise you, it's filled with people trying to buy lunch for their kids or something. It's not what's going on in the real world. It's not. I promise you it's not. Even MSNOW had to note this. MSNBC, did you see this segment? You want to talk about getting owned? So President Trump does a rally in Kentucky yesterday for Ed Gallrein, who's running against Massey. I endorse Ed. I hope he wins, right? He does this rally out there in Kentucky. So MSNBC, now MSNOW, goes out and interviews the population. Now again, MSNOW and the liberal media narrative is MAGA civil war, chaos. Everybody hates this Iran war. We're all going to die. The Mullahs have won, folks. We should all surrender. We should all get on our knees and genuflect in front of our new rulers, Khomeini number 7, who can't even show his face. He just issues like a fatwa statement, okay? We should all get down on our knees and worship our new kings and queens, the Iranians. They go out in the real world in Kentucky and interview a couple people. And unsurprisingly, these 2 interviews are great. They're short, but they're good. These are some of the best. These are better answers than you'll ever get from that a-hole Paul Begala. Pete Hegg said they had $15 million at stake. Here's regular Americans talking about this great country. Notice how articulate, succinct, and sensible they sound compared to the lunatics in the liberal media. Check this out.
The result is what we're doing, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, short-term pain for what I hope will be a long-term gain. In Iran with a Western-friendly government would be a complete game changer for the Middle East, which understandably would affect oil prices positively.
That guy at the end has given some of the single best commentary on the Iranian military action that you've seen on any left-wing media channel, absent Scott Jennings saving CNN from their sanity. Gabe Fleischer, X. Here's a post on X. Quote, there is no MAGA split on Iran, folks. I don't care what left-wing lunatics tell you. Listen to the man in Kentucky. Poll after poll, he notes, shows that 85 to 90% of MAGA Republicans support the U.S. strikes in Iran. Many news outlets ran with stories from Tucker, Bannon, etc., without checking if they represented any meaningful segment of GOP voters. They don't. Here, there's the poll numbers for you there. Now, someone emailed me yesterday. I had my email from the olden days, as they say. Someone emailed me and said, Dan, you focus on this a lot. I focus on it because there are a lot of people who email me who really believe like there is this MAGA civil war going on. It's not happening. Folks, we are winning. We are winning big. Did you see this video yesterday that was circulating around on X? Did you see that explosion? Does that look like the Iranians are winning? That's a massive ordnance penetrator, a huge bunker-busting 30,000-pound freaking bomb. Does that look like the Iranians are winning to you? If I'm seeing that out of my back window, that doesn't look like winning. That looks like they're getting their asses kicked. Look at that, in case you missed it. Here's another one. This besieged militia paramilitary assholes setting up checkpoints in the street. Well, apparently, the IDF and the Israeli intelligence agencies, in conjunction with our intel people, have given away for the Iranian citizenry who are being harassed and tortured by these assholes to report their positions, and they're then being wiped out. Does that look like winning to you for the Iranians? Doesn't sound like winning to me. Sound like you're getting your ass kicked. And yet, the other side continues to trip over their own cranks in their effort to run for the latest current thing on the left. What's the latest current thing? We got to defund ICE. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. After 20 million illegals. By the way, here's the dipshittery of the left-wing media. It'll drive you bananas once you see it. On one hand, the left-wing media wants you to panic. We're all going to be killed by drones and sleeper cells, and there's going to be terror attacks everywhere. I can't believe Trump did this. And then on the other hand, you got the Democrats shutting down the Department of Homeland Security, not funding them right now while this is going on. And the Democrat liberal media never makes the connection. It's not that they don't know the connection exists. They just avoid telling you. Show that line thing. Here's courtesy of the Democrats. This is a line at one of these airports. I don't know where this was taken. It could be anywhere. Shit, could be PBI down the road. Here's a line at TSA because the Democrats who tell you government's going to fix all your problems can't even figure out the government problem of lines at airports. They keep doubling down on freaking stupid. And it's like they love it. It's like they love being stupid. And Donald Trump is the one guy who calls this bullshit out. Here's a tweet about California, who you think they've gone crazy. They continue to double down on insanity. Half of people in California would support a one-time tax on the ultra wealthy. Justin, get it out. Get it out. Here we go, folks. Here is an Econ 101 lesson for liberal dipshits. We haven't used this in a while. Are you ready? Folks, get ready to take notes. Here is the liberal guide to, I had it as loan repayment, but I call it Bongino-nomics, Bonginomics. It's don't be a freaking bum. Take your rump. We can call it an ass on this show. There is my fancy drawing. I'm like Michelangelo with my drawings here. Take your ass. We call it rump in this thing. You go to this building. Justin, do you know what the building is? It's a freaking job. Do you have a job? He does. He's in there right now doing it. Why do you have a job, Justin? So he can make money, okay? So when you go to the building called the J-O-B, remember that song from the 80s? You got to have a J-O-B. Remember that? Get the job and you will make this thing called money. So ass, seat, remove your ass from the seat, get a freaking job, and there you go. You'll get money. Here, you can take this back. I'm amazed that that thing, that dry erase marker, by the way, is still going on that thing, considering it's like 4 years old now. It is like caked on. There's like no way to it would take like battery acid to get that off. Go get a job. Why do we talk to people like they're babies? Trump doesn't do that. I'm not talking about kids whose parents died or, some 90-year-old woman with dementia who's got no living room. Of course, a stable, sound society, we should take care of people. Maybe someone who's born with a physical disability who can't work. Yes, that's what a generous society like we are, this great country, does. If you are a human being with 4 limbs, a pumping heart, and a brain that works, get a freaking job. Stop with this rich guy in California. I should take his money. Who gives a shit about this rich guy in California? Why is he? It's like the thing we talked about with Lindsay in the beginning, this current thingism. Why is your entire life around this one issue? I don't understand. It's not I support our relationship with Israel because I think it benefits us. I've been dealing with it for 20 years of my life and seen the benefits. I'm not obsessed with the issue. It is an interesting issue to me. I go, why is it the sole issue you always care about? This is what the left does with current thingism. You understand? I don't want to make my own money because I'm a lazy bum. So I'm going to obsess over some rich guys in California and a wealth tax, who, by the way, are never going to pay the tax. Jasmine, any idea why people in California are not going to pay the wealth tax? Yes, you're correct. She's like, I didn't even answer. But I know what you're thinking. Because they're going to leave. Put up the article, Wall Street Journal. Thank you. This isn't even... Ex-Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, he left Washington, by the way, which just did another millionaire tax, pays $44 million for California penthouse. He's like, that's not the headline. Wait, the Starbucks CEO, isn't he a lefty guy? I don't even. Howard Schultz pays $44 million. Oh, for a Florida penthouse. Florida. Where's Florida? Oh, we're in Florida now. Liberals, please don't come here, by the way. I don't know that guy personally, but I don't want your money. I listen, it's a free country. I get it. But can we instill like border control? Governor DeSantis, please. Byron Donalds, no liberals. I don't want any more. Stop coming here. Jasmine, why aren't they going to pay the wealth tax? Because they're not there. Because they're leaving, you dipshits. This is what happens when you fall into this current thingism. This trap where your entire life is like this one freaking issue. I need to get money from wealthy people. You can get money from wealthy people. They start businesses. Get a freaking job. They will pay you. And then maybe one day you can be wealthy. I know it's like fashionable on the left right now. I know it's fashionable to like Gavin Newsom's doing it. And all these other guys on the left are doing it. Everyone wants to claim some kind of like life impairment. Gavin Newsom, like we just found out, he says he can't read or something. Like, when did this happen? Whether it did or did, it's like unbelievable. I'm not whining about it, but my dad was a plumber and a building inspector for the town of Smithtown. My mom worked the register in Finest Supermarket in 64th Place in Myrtle, and then worked for Con Edison later. Like, I was not born with some silver spoon. So I don't want any lectures from liberal assholes about, what it's like to have to make your own money. I did make my own money. This current thingism, man, is just freaking sickening. They're not going to pay your stupid tax. They're just going to leave. And it's killing us in Florida, too, because we don't want you guys here. Nobody wants you. Liberals, nobody wants you. I know I can't stop you, but is there anything we can do to incentivize you to move to another liberal state? You won't do it. How many people go from like California to Chicago? Is there a number on that? Probably like a sliver. Where do they go? Low or no tax states. Nevada, Florida, Texas. How many people in Texas or Florida? Here, poll in the chat quick. How many people in Texas and Florida want more liberal millionaires moving to their state? Yes, I want them, or no, I don't. I can guarantee you if we had Bongino, 100% of people, we don't want you. Stay where you are. You've assed up your own state. We don't want you. Here we go. No. Get a job. Yes. Who just said that? Chat is on fire again. Nobody wants you people. No, no, zero. Florida's full. Please stay where you are. Poor makeup lady, Jacqueline. I'm getting all like, I'm so animated. I'm like sweating at this point. She's like dying to come in here, but I can't. I just been going on these rants. I told you I was in a mood today. I was like hyper caffeinated. I know what you're going to say. Guy's like, when you're in a mood like this, Dan, you should rest. And the perfect place to rest, right, Guy, would be what? You see, I did it for you. I know he's what he was thinking. This is what he does. He's got to keep the show on track. I'm not done. What happens when Chuck Schumer says the quiet part out loud about voter rolls? He actually admits it. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Usually this guy's smarter than that. Well, not usually. Not him. Other Democrats. Not this time. I got a lot more. I'm not done. I can't waste this. I've got a ton of energy today. I'm just in a total mood. Because I slept well. Perfect segue, Guy. And what did I sleep on, Guy? Helix mattress, right? I did. Love Helix mattress. Spring's rolling around. You get that urge to clean up everything. Big resets. Everyone wants to look good, feel good for the spring, clean the house, get in shape. Well, get in shape. You want to get a good night's sleep too. You like that? One upgrade you could make to your life to make your life so much better. Physically, emotionally, mentally, you got to get good sleep. You don't sleep, you're not going to feel good. Period. End of story. You're going to spend 8 hours, sometimes more, on this thing you call a mattress. Why would you not have the best one? That's a lot of time. Get rid of your old mattress and get the best in the business, Helix. I have a Helix. I've had, third, fourth one. I lost track. Helix, super comfortable, and they'll personalize it to you. Before Helix, nights were rough. Wake up with a tight back, knees always hurting, overheating, that's the worst. So I changed, bought a Helix mattress. Paula loves it. I love it. I made the switch. Totally different. I took their sleep quiz. You should do it too. And I got paired with the perfect mattress for how I sleep. Within the first week, I noticed the difference. I don't sleep on anything else. Now I'm waking up refreshed instead of dragging myself out of bed, and it's wild how much better the entire day feels. Right now, Helix has an exclusive offer for you, Dan Bongino Show listeners. Just go to helixsleep.com/Dan and get 27% off site-wide. That's HELIX, helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name at checkout so they know we sent you. Do it today. Official mattress, the Dan Bongino Show. helixsleep.com/Dan. Make the switch today. Thank you, Helix Sleep. Okay, back to the show. Sometimes we get lucky enough that the lying Democrats and their liberal media allies, almost sometimes just out of pure stupidity, accidentally say the quiet part out loud. And when they do it, you know we're going to take it, cut it, and broadcast it to the entire world to see. Here's Chuck Schumer yesterday admitting that, the voter rolls and the Save America Act that would just implement basic voter integrity measures like ID around the globe. Here is Chuck Schumer basically admitting that if ICE were to take a look at these voter rolls, they may have to pull a lot of people off. No, he didn't say that out loud. No, he did. This is not AI. Check this out.
Isn't voter ID number one? It is about voter registration. It allows ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the rolls, and they don't tell them until Election Day, and you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore. You're not registered here. You're not on the rolls.
I adore these people when they come out and tell you the quiet part out loud. Why would ICE have to kick people off the rolls if the SAVE Act were implemented? Why would they have to do it now? Maybe because they're in the country illegally? And if you're in the country illegally and not a citizen, you cannot vote in federal elections? I don't know. I'm just asking. Don't you love it when these dipshits say the quiet part out loud? Again, no sane person or no true Scotsman. But let's just say this. The overwhelming majority of rational, sane people in the United States see right through this bullshit. Yes, you should have to prove who you are and you're legally in the country to vote and pick leaders that can spend our money, send our troops to war, and basically regulate our entire economy at this point. That's not where the Democrats are. I don't like to get into parochial politics too much because that's actually a global show. We have people overseas, we have a big audience in Australia and elsewhere. People listen to the show from all over. However, this one's important because it's indicative of how there are no more moderate Democrats. Don't believe this moderate Democrat bullshit. It's all nonsense. There's no more. The Blue Dog Democrat constituency, the Bill Clinton Democrat, that crap is over. Abigail Spanberger got elected to the governorship of Virginia, running as like this moderate, I'm not one of the crazies. I don't believe in all that crazy fringe current thing stuff we've been addressing throughout the show. Really? Because the state of Virginia right now is probably more liberal than the state of Maryland, which is dominated by a near supermajority of lunatic Democrats. This one up yesterday, I thought this was a joke too. The Virginia Democrats are now voting, not only they want cheating in elections, they want to make us checking the cheating by like a hand count. They don't even want that. Virginia Senate GOP. Virginia Democrats just passed a bill banning the hand counting of ballots. Prohibits such ballots from being counted by hand. You really think that this lunacy resonates with like those two Kentucky folks who were interviewed on MSNOW about Iran? Folks, the party is nuts. Please stop with the anyone, there are some good Democrats. There are no good Democrats left. They lie to you to get elected and then do crazy shit. That's the one thing that drives them crazy about Trump. Everything he said he was going to do, he did. They're disoriented by Trump's truth and honesty because they're used to being bullshitted. You see that tie-in? By people like Spanberger who run, I'm not running with these AOC types, and then get in there and go even crazier than AOC. Folks, we're dealing with psychos. I played for you yesterday that Abby Phillips viral segment on CNN, where after the terror attack in New York, the Islamo-fanatic terror lunatics who threw those 2 TATP bombs, after they tried to paint it as some anti-Muslim attack. That's not what it was at all. They tried to paint it as an attack on Mamdani, the lunatic mayor of New York. How many freaking retractions is CNN going to have to issue? What do you mean, Dan? Here is another CNN segment with another crazy person. It's Ana Navarro, right? Here's Ana Navarro on CNN doing the exact same thing, trying to pretend that this Islamo-fanatic terror attack in New York was directed at Mamdani. Totally fake. They did it again, hence the title of today's show. Check this out.
Supposedly, some of these comments are as a result of the attempt against Mayor Mamdani in New York, who was raised Muslim, was he not? Himself. Yeah. So they're being anti-Muslim and they're finally defending Mamdani over something.
To be clear, the attack wasn't on Mayor Mamdani. It was on
at his house.
It was attacking protesters, people protesting Mamdani.
Right by his house.
To frame it as an anti-Muslim attack would actually completely reverse what happened. Someone who shouted Allah Akbar threw a bomb that didn't go off at the protesters.
It was holy Moses. CNN. I don't know. Where do we go with this, guys? I don't even know what to say. Is there anyone in charge at that network? We have an email. I'm not going to put it out, but say it's like everyone at everyone.com. Like we have an email, everybody. And if something bad happens everyone gets it. Andy the sequel, Josh, Guy, Jim, Jasmine, everybody. Hey guys, don't do this. Don't hit the red button in the studio or the studio will explode. Okay? Don't do it. Is there like a CNN all email? Like everyone at CNN.com? Can you just put out an email that this was not an attack on Mamdani? How freaking stupid are you idiots at CNN that you keep having to issue the same correction? Am I wrong? Okay. How many times are we going to do this? Listen, man, I'm telling you, I'm not like putting anybody on a pedestal, but I've worked in and out of Fox for 10 years. If something goes wrong on the air and you repeat it, I promise you're getting an email like, hey, man, that was wrong. You're going to have to correct it. Happened on my show one time. We put up a chart. It was a long story. The chart was inaccurate. We're like, hey, the chart was inaccurate. It happened. It happens. And you're on the air all the time. It happens. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I didn't think that lady was going to show up at the Kavanaugh hearing, and she did for those really diehard P1s. You just did the same thing they did the other day. His video is great. Hat tip Mays more. Here's what I'm talking about too. Here is a history of left-leaning hosts on CNN and other networks, 4 side by side, just randomly spouting out stupid, inaccurate shit. The first one I have personal interest in is obviously the pipe bomber case, which is still ongoing. And you'll see the race is misidentified. Then you'll hear like Caitlin Collins at the end for those listening on audio. But hat tip Mays Moore, great account on X. This is what we have to do on liberal media people all the time. We have to stop them from spouting insanity. And I'm trying to help you. Check this out.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device.
Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments.
Why is it so hard to believe that someone could be an exceptional athlete and a woman? If you want to protect women and daughters, she is a woman, she is somebody's daughter, and she's a woman in sports. And it just conjures up that old statement, ain't I a woman?
President Biden has spent days locked in intense preparation, surrounded by his closest advisors at Camp David. And our sources are telling us tonight that full mock debates are underway at the podium, under the lights. He's even watching tape to know exactly what he's going to see when he steps up to that lectern. His team shot a video during a walkthrough of the CNN studio. And as I reported while covering him at the White House, when Biden prepares, he does so incredibly intensively. The former president, on the other hand, who is not known for his attention to detail, is talking about how very hard it is to prepare, while at the same time insisting he doesn't need it.
So, in reverse order, Trump's an idiot, but Biden is this preparation debate genius. The boxer man is really a woman. What was the other one? The second? I'm trying to think. The first one, was Tapper, the black man is a white man. Oh, and then the other one was, this was an attack on Mamdani. Is there any editorial control at these liberal media outlets at all? Are you going to endlessly humiliate yourselves? My gosh. I saw you guys doing air squats before, by the way. You get your air squats in? You think I'm making this up with the air squats? Josh doing them now. I didn't get to do them because I've been ranting so much during the show. But you think I'm making this up with the air squats during the day? You got the air squats video? Is that Dr. Rhonda? I pulled this the other day for some. This is kind of like a bit of a timeline cleanse after listening to this liberal media idiocy. I want you all to be healthy. I'm a big health hacker. I'm 51. I feel like I'm, sometimes like I'm falling apart if I don't do this health hack stuff, forget it. I don't want to get dead. I already had a get dead scare. Not pleasant. I gave lymphoma and cancer a review on Yelp, and I gave it 2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down. I didn't like it. It was no fun. You know what's the worst part about it is, by the way? Like the cancer, right? Like the getting dead part. No, it's not even worse part. I don't like needles. I hate them. You know that. I don't try to play tough guy on TV. I don't like needles. And when you go through cancer treatment, everybody's sticking you with a needle. You get this port in your chest, they're like jamming things in your chest. It's like getting stabbed. They're like, "Argh!" These freaking syringes too are like that thick. You have to put lidocaine on the port. It like, I hate needles. So I don't want to get that. So I learned this little trick to do like 100 air squats a day. I don't know, 25 times, 10 times. Get Mara Gay in here. We'll do some math. 20 times, whatever you want to do. I'm not crazy though, folks. It works. Play that clip in case you think I just pulled this out of my caboose.
It says a major finding in 2025 found a danger of being active sedentary, which is people who exercise for like 30 to 60 minutes, but sit for the remaining 10 hours a day. If you sit for more than 10 hours a day, your risk of cardiovascular disease increases even if you meet weekly exercise goals, because prolonged sitting shuts down lipoprotein lipase, an enzyme essential for burning fat and cleaning glucose from the blood. That's annoying to read because I feel like that's me.
Yeah, and being sedentary is a disease. You can change the trajectory of your life by doing 10 air squats every hour on the hour. And there was a study that was done on this that showed that if you do 10 air squats every hour, this can compensate for your sedentary lifestyle, because unfortunately, this is the life we're living in. We are becoming more sedentary in our day-to-day lives. We're sitting more. We're not going out as much. There's younger kids on video games. They're scrolling. There's so much happening that is involving our sedentary lifestyle, which is obviously, like you said, increasing our risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, etc. Yep, you can do it.
Like this.
There you go, 10 of those. If you do 10 of those, you can outweigh the benefits of a 30-minute power walk.
Every hour?
Yeah.
For how many hours?
8.
Okay, so I could set an alarm on my phone.
Every hour. Just get up, or every 45 minutes get up and do an air squat.
Hat Tip, Diary of a CEO, pretty interesting podcast. What's her name? Louisa? That's not Dr. Ron, obviously. Louisa Nicole. Folks, I'm just looking out for you, Brother Dan. There's the studio. Josh, Justin. Dude, Justin looks like he's like 47 feet tall there. Guy, of course, did his already. Guy's actually a pretty good exerciser. I'm just trying to reduce everyone's healthcare costs and make everybody happy. I'm not kidding. That stuff works. I do like 200 a day. My legs got huge too. Do your air squats. Because what's the number one rule of the Dan Bongino show? Don't get dead. You know, listen, we can't talk about liberals sitting on their asses, not getting jobs, when we're actually like literally actually talking about sitting on our butts. It's bad for you. Sitting's the new smoking. And for those people saying like, hey man, I don't think I have the time for this. No Snuggie for Geet. Oh, put that guy, give him a highlight. Camaro 3102. No Snuggie for Geet. No, he's not, he doesn't have his Obi-Wan Kenobi Snuggie on. There you go. Good job, Camaro 3102. Hat tip to you. Did you? You just did it? Good. A New Jersey girl says just did it. Good for you. I'm just trying to take care of you guys. I saw this video too, and I put this in the show. I saw this pop yesterday, totally unrelated. Here's this gym guy, and he's an older guy in the gym, busting his ass, and he just randomly walks around the gym. You know, everybody out there, like, I'm not saying it's you, but if you know you don't want to do your 10 air squats, you know, you don't want to do your 10 air squats, and assuming you don't have like bad knees. I got bad knees, I do it anyway, but you know, I don't want to blow out your knees or your back or anything. However, here's this guy walking around the gym, talking to people, busting their ass in the gym, like, hey, you guys have jobs? Guy's like, yeah, man, I work 40, 50 hours a week, and you're still here? Look at these dudes. Check this out.
How many hours a week do you work? 40. How many hours a week do you work? 40. Okay. How many hours a week do you work?
Like work in here?
Yeah, work. No, work. Your job.
My job? 9, 10-hour days. 2 in the morning till about 12 in the afternoon.
Wow. So over 40 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just checking.
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Work?
Yeah, work.
Job?
Yeah, your job.
50.
But you're in here?
Every day.
5 days a week. Wow. Upper.
60, 70.
All right. Thanks. At your job.
40.
40. Okay. And you're in here?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Just checking.
Without a doubt.
All right,
Without
baby.
a doubt. Be like you, baby.
How many sets you gonna do?
All of them.
How many reps?
All of them.
50. And you got time for the gym?
Oh, all right. See you, man.
There's Old Man Muscle. Old Man Muscle 01, is that a hat tip to you? No excuses, man. I'm like 51 and decaying at a rapid rate. Got to do them. I'm just trying to take care of you. All right, listen, get back. I'm sorry for these little segues. I hope you guys don't mind them too much, but I increased the length of the show because I feel like I wasn't fitting everything into an hour. Just so you know, the reason I had to limit the podcast before I took the government job to an hour was because the radio show started at 12. So now that I have more time, I like to hang around. So I hope you're enjoying the extra content. If not, up to you. Totally cool. This is, it's a meritocracy. If I don't merit your attention, then I understand you tuning out. But I'd like to get off topic with politics all the time. Just not often, but often enough. I wanted to show you something yesterday, too, talking about President Trump. You got that, him giving out the challenge coin? Hold on a sec, though. Don't put it up yet. Folks, one of the distinct pleasures I had voting for this great guy is how much he cares about our troops. And I want to kind of sandwich the show. And we talked about the troops in the beginning, our soldiers, our airmen, our Marines, our Navy folks, people in the Coast Guard, how they bust their ass all the time. And this story about them occasionally getting steak and a lobster tail is the biggest political blunder of all time if the left really wants to make a story out of this. Because the American people are going to be like, give these guys and women as much steak and lobster as they want. I'm telling you, like, President Trump loves the door kickers. He loves law enforcement. And he loves the military. I know you guys know that, but I just want to assure you, and I want you to listen to me because it's really important. Forget the job stuff, but I've known this guy a long time. I promise you, that is not some shtick. Like, he adores these guys. So you play it again. Here he is getting off of Marine One, and he has these really like expensive coins. I showed you one. He has these like dark MAGA and presidential coins. He pays for them. They're really, really. Here he is giving one out to one of his Marines right there. This is just amazing. Like, that's just a little thing. I get it, but he has such respect for our military, and the way he talks about them behind closed doors is the exact way he does it in public. He adores these guys. I wanted to end the show with this. There's a race going on in Kentucky. President Trump has endorsed Massey's opponent. He did a rally out there in Kentucky yesterday. You have that shot? Here is President Trump at the rally yesterday. Check this out.
Massey's a complete and total disaster as a congressman and, frankly, as a human being. You know, he's got one thing going. He went to a good college. But I know a lot of stupid people that went to a good college. And my uncle was the longest serving professor in the history of that particular college, university, MIT. 41 years. My uncle was there 41 years. So that means I have much better blood if you go by that. But I went to the hardest college of all to get into, the Wharton School of Finance. That means I'm real smart. We got to get rid of this loser.
There he was. Again, disorients people with the truth. You don't have to ask him, like, how do you feel about the congressman? He's just going to tell you. He disorients people with the truth, and they don't know how to take it because they are so used to being lied to. Just a quick example. When I was in my prior job, I went to this school to learn how to be an undercover. And then we wound up teaching it in the academy. So it was kind of a train-the-trainer thing. And one of the things they told us, you got to be very careful breaking cover. I think of that scene in, you ever see Donnie Brasco? Where, Jim, I know what you're thinking. You ever see the scene in Donnie Brasco where at the end, Lefty gets arrested with Donnie. They're trying to do a hit on that mobster's kid. And they arrest Donnie, too, even though he's an undercover FBI agent. Was it Joe Pistone? Well, you got to be careful breaking cover because it can get very dangerous. If a guy like Lefty and Donnie Brasco for 6 months to a year has known you as a mobster and nothing else, when you come out and go, hey, I'm FBI, like, it's just such a shock to the system. Like, nobody can anticipate what's going to happen. So you got to be very careful how that happens. That's Donald Trump. Donald Trump was like a shock to the system because people were so used to being lied to over and over that when a guy comes in and tells them the truth, it's like an eruption, like people don't know what to do. That's why you've had this now 10-year, I could argue maybe 11, 2015 to now, just media TDS infection that just won't go away. Scary stuff. All right, folks, as you know, we raid Steven Crowder. We got Haley coming up at noon, Haley Carania. She's at rumble.com/Haley, Hayley. Check her show out. Vince Colanese, I had a great conversation with Vince yesterday. What a pleasure to have him on board. If you haven't checked out his show at 8 a.m., you should. Rumble.com/Vince. He does a great job over there. And of course, the Dan Bongino Show. A couple favors to ask. I hate them, but I ask the same one every day. If you don't mind, go download the Rumble app from whatever app store you have, Google or Apple, doesn't really matter. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Find our show on there, Dan Bongino Show. Hit that follow button. Justin put together this handy-dandy graphic. You can go to rumble.com/Bongino too. Click that follow button. We're at 3.63 million followers, added about 10, 20,000 more. We really appreciate it. You get a notification when the show goes live. Join the chat. We love to join it with you every day at 10 a.m. Watch it on demand anytime. Spread the word. And if you wouldn't mind, help us out on Apple and Spotify as well. Give us a follow over there. It's the audio version of the show. We really appreciate it. I will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Hey there, I'm Vince.
I'm Haley Carania,
Host of Vince.
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report channel.
live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Noon weekdays. And if you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
Right
right here
and
and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.